What's your advice to someone who is lost?
The opposite of addiction is connection, and I could never do this thing on my own.
I've been working since I was a kid, I just gotta keep my head.
That you're responsible for and that your name's attached to, do you feel like that gave you that responsibility to be better than you were? If you believe in yourself a little bit, you'd be surprised what could happen.
Yeah, I got them fed for real, running around, but I'm the passenger now, cause Jesus don't touch them.
I mean, my biggest thing is, you know, I always tell people, some people are born knowing what they want, and some people built into it. Life change, things change. You might be into something for 10 years and then bam, you just like, I don't like it, or the feel or the outcome of it is not the same like it used to be. Sometimes your environment or people make you just not want to do it, or just do it for yourself. But I always tell people, if you build from your hobby and make it into a profession, I'm all about it, because going in a profession is a passion. If you don't have the passion, if you're only going in for the money,
You're going to burn yourself out.
Yeah, you're going to really burn yourself out.
Right.
And I tell people there's more crying than being happy being an entrepreneur, doing what I do. But all that sweat and tears means a lot to me, to my brand, and to everybody else, because I bring a lot of great moments for people and things to look back. Like, my work, no matter what, will be around until I'm gone.
Yeah.
Until whoever I took pictures of, venues, whatever, it could be in the archives. It could have people's great grandkids look back and just like, wow. So I always want to embrace people to push forward, but make sure it's a passion. If you're going in for the money, then it is what it is, you know?
Yeah.
That's all.
Well, yeah, because when you're passionate about something, like I kind of hit it at before, you get really curious. So like you would naturally progress, you know? So I'm sure you didn't start out photography with the camera you have now. It's like, you got to build up to that. You know what I mean? It's like, and for those who don't know, this is Aaron Raysor, by the way. So you like are so used to being behind the camera, and I would see it at every event. So you're doing basically everything in the city for all the DJs in the city. Like you're that guy, and it's like, I see you all the time, and it's like, it's very rare that you mentioned you're a private person. So like, it's not often I get to have a conversation, with someone like yourself who, has done so much and is behind the camera, and so I'm curious to know a little bit about like what got you into it, and like how you got started. Because you mentioned you were a DJ before, so if you can start me off with that. I mean, how'd you get into that, and ultimately what brought your transition into photography?
I got into DJing because of my cousins. Living out in Brooklyn, I used to carry vinyls for them, go to house parties, do the thing.
Yeah.
One day, my cousin asked me to spin for him while he had to go to the bathroom. So, I knew the crates. We had the BPMs written down per crates. And by the fifth song, I was like, shit, I need to keep this party going, because if I don't, my cousin ain't going to never let me come out again.
Yeah.
So I keep the party going. It's mostly house music, house and dance, you know. He comes back with a beer in his hand. He's like, you good? I was like, yeah. He's like, all right, keep going. I was like, oh, okay. So, I was already an artist, Right. I have done a lot in my life. During that time as a DJ, getting into DJing, I was doing art, music. I played the piano.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Can you still play?
No. I played for 15 years. I was a piano teacher and everything.
Oh, wow.
So DJing, it was happening. And then one day I finally got a hold of a DSL camera, because film cameras are I'll be honest, shitty if you don't have proper lighting, you know.
For filming?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I got that, the homies was like, oh, you know, just capturing the moments. Nobody really had moments capture at any venues or parties unless it was like a certain brand that came out. So I became that guy where if I was DJing with the homies, I would have my camera, we'll take turns. If it's their turn to DJ, then I'll start taking pictures of everybody dancing, having fun, you know, telling a story of that night.
Absolutely. And you do a really good job of building the environment too. And I don't think it gets talked about enough, because when you're telling people to get in for pictures, bring them together, you're creating that environment where it's like you're actively motivating people to move around and enjoy themselves. You're kind of like giving them that slight nudge, and them seeing themselves in pictures, you know, it's so shareable. And like you said capture the moment. And I guess like ultimately I guess that's what you truly love. And like that's why you pushed away from DJing, just because you were like, hey, I love this so much.
Well, I pushed away from DJing more because of the music. A lot of the newer music, hearing the artists just talk about, you know, they just doing it for fun. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when you bashing the OGs that basically help your parents make you,
right? Yeah.
and then you learn from that,
right.
it's hard, because I never bash on my OGs of music and artists. So it was, and plus everybody was a DJ.
Right.
It wasn't a lot of photographers, so I was building more. I had a name, you know. I built a crumble. I built from the middle, you know. Felt a little bit, but I was learning, and I kept building. I never fully fell. I only fell. I always tell people, you only fell when you don't learn from your mistakes by the third or fourth time.
Right.
You know,
I'm going to find this quote, because Jokic, he doesn't speak much, but he, you know, the center for the Nuggets.
Yeah.
So he said something in an interview after he won the finals, and I loved it because it's so true. I got to find it. So he says, if you want to be successful, you need to be bad. Then you need to be good. Then when you're good, you need to fail. Then when you fail, you're going to figure it out, you know.
I agree with that. I guess my bad was being reckless, I guess. You know, I'm 2 years and a month sober right now.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. Decided to go sober while I'm in therapy, working on myself. There's a lot when you're in the industry. You deal with a lot. You go through a lot. You meet a lot of people. It do mess with your mental health. It do. You do drink. I always tell people it's a lose-lose situation. If it's a good time, you're drinking. If it's a bad time, you're drinking. If it's slow, you're drinking. If it's super busy, the homies, everybody is just so happy to see you, you're drinking. So, you know, shout out to Montone for 10 years. Like, you know, I been telling a lot of people I wasn't really a big drinker. I'll be honest. Like, after college, I mostly started drinking, you know, because being in art school, I was in the lab. I was focused, you know.
So what led to you starting to drink? Was it your friends or?
Yeah, it was just friends, hanging out with friends, family, you know. I had more wiggle room, you know. So it was just partying, getting to know people, you know, networking. And, you know, I enjoy doing those times, like my Belgian drinks, mixologist drinks, you know. But just having a good time with friends, you know. It wasn't like I needed to drink, you know. And that's why it wasn't hard for me to stop, because I knew I wasn't an alcoholic. I just had some issues, and it showed during.
Did it get to a point where you had to make that final decision? Like, did something happen specifically, or did you just wake up one morning and you're like, "Yo, I feel like shit. I need
something happened."
Okay.
I browned out one night. I got triggered over something really stupid. It was like a creative idea, and a friend of mine's got in an argument, and when I woke up, I was just like, I can't do this, man. I really need to work on certain things with myself, because if the people who really do know me know that I'm a really happy, cheerful, supportive person.
Yeah.
So when a lot of friends, you know, when I told them what I was doing, they was like, okay. They was like, that's what's up, man. You know, and I'll be honest, I didn't think I was going to go 2 years. But the more months kept going by, I felt better. I was waking up earlier. I was more creative. But I wasn't tired. You know, drinking made me tired. Drinking will make you lazy at times, and you just don't want to do anything. Where there's nothing against anybody who do drink. You know?
Yeah, but I understand.
Yeah, so, and plus I did my fair share of drinking, especially living overseas and everything. So,
oh, man, you sound like you've done everything. So what's keeping you in the Philly scene right now? Because it sounds like you've been, and we can dive into it, but it sounds like you've been all over the place. What's keeping you in Philly right now?
So right now, other than just like supporting and taking care of my parents, I'm working on a plan. You know, 2021, I had to rebrand myself, rebuild, change my life around. And, you know, after going into therapy, I realized that I was holding myself back on a lot of things. But right now, Philly is just a base. I've been back and forth in Chicago. I'm making a new base in San Francisco. Been back and forth on Kauai. Things that should have been happening in 2020, but because of COVID, I'm rebranding, and plus my skills, my way of looking towards life and the world as my canvas change. So I had to start in a way over, but with a different look. But it wasn't really starting from the beginning, because I already knew what I needed to do, because I finally found my structure. And that's the key thing. You have to have structure. Once you have structure, build off it. It don't have to be 100%, but as long as it's something that you could build off and you're confident about it. That's it.
So you think that, do you think that ultimately the reset was good for you? Because
honestly, yeah. Yeah. I went through, actually, this is my third reset.
Really?
I'll be honest.
Really?
I feel like we all go through a reset, and we need it.
Yeah.
Sometimes that reset will show you if this really is for you, you know?
Yeah.
Or this is your opportunity to get out. And some people, that's a hard pill to swallow. Some people have a hard time pushing forward because they get too comfortable.
Yeah, comfort kills, man.
As me as an artist, I can't get comfortable. Sometimes I hate my work after 6 months. Everybody could think it's the most amazing work. And I'll just look at it like, I need to change it out. I mean, that's how I feel.
And that's what keeps you, growing though.
Yeah.
You know, it's good to have that moment where you're like, it can work for so long. It can work, but then you know, because you ultimately know in yourself that there's levels to it, and you have another level you need to hit.
Yeah.
Only person that's going to be able to see that is you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, while everybody's partying or asleep, I'm working.
Right.
I've always been up late, just perfecting my craft, changing my lighting, using myself as doing a lot of self-portraits. All the self-portraits everybody ever seen on my Instagram, I done it myself. You know, all the creative stuff.
Yeah, your work looks great.
Thank you.
It shows. It definitely shows.
Yeah.
Let me ask you real quick though.
Yeah.
So getting into the Philly nightlife scene, like what got you into that? Because you're so intertwined with us and all the DJs in the city. You're filming you're shooting all these things. It's like, how did you get into that? Like, how did you get your start with the Philly scene?
I mean, it's basically because of DJing. You know, I knew a lot of people at the right time where they was building. And I helped a lot of people. Some people, I just seen something in them and just like, yeah, I got you. You know, I'm not going to do that for everybody, you know, because some people, like I learned from the past, take advantage.
Absolutely.
This one thing I always learned was nothing is for free. No matter what you do for somebody is going to give you something just to show you they thank you. Now, some people, like me, might just like, no, your happiness, your growth, that's my reward. But I don't do that with everybody. And I'm not going to let everybody know. You know, you just, the vibe just have to be.
It's a vibe, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, that just goes to show, and that's what ultimately does help build those long-lasting relationships. For me, like even just like in friendships, I'm kind of the same as you. It's like if you see, as long as you see someone's success and happiness, that is a reward, you know. But yeah, I mean, if you're good at something, don't do it for free.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? It's as simple as that. But you know, so I wanted to, where were you born? I'm curious where you started, because we ended up here, but where did you where were you born?
I started in Brooklyn, and then I came here, but I was back and forth between Brooklyn and Philly. Most of from high school and all was just mostly in Philly. The weekends was just New York. You know.
Okay, so were you growing up? Were you always that creative? Was that inside of you?
Yeah. My parents' house have bins full of my artwork and art books. Even in art school, we had to train, because I was an animator for a little bit.
Really?
Each quarter we had to outdo our art books. So first quarter it would be 5, second quarter would be 10 art books, third quarter would be 15. So you had to finish that amount of books.
Oh wow!
The sketches and
you put the work in there.
Yeah, my home was basically the art store and the art museum. That was basically my home. I eat, breathe, sleep, art, music, and photography.
That's amazing. You still dabble in the art?
Yeah. I just mostly do it personally for myself now. I'll be honest. I just hate doing creative stuff and art or graphic design for other people, because people never know what they want. And or they don't know, but they pretend like they do know, so they can pretend like they was a part of the project the whole time.
Right.
Where you're just like, nah.
It kind of strips away the creative freedom. I can see where, because I've been guilty of that, even when like doing music. Like my buddy would like put a song together, and I'm like, oh, can you make it sound like this? And it's like I just assume they know how. Like, you know. So and I've seen like my buddy Jordan Spector. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he does a lot of sports stuff for athletes. Okay. And I was seeing his process, and it is a in-depth process, man. It takes a lot of work, a lot of stuff, and to see the finished product, people don't see the stuff that goes into the initial planning. And you know, that's where I have a lot of respect for artists, because you just assume and you kind of take it for granted that it's going to come out good. But like every single time, it's just like that 10,000 hours just come kicking in, and they're putting that work in. And like I said, I got a lot of respect for artists. So, because I've seen a little bit behind the scenes, and I'm not an artist. I can draw SpongeBob. That's about it. But I mean, you know,
dude, my hustle back in the day was doing baby cartoon characters, like the baby Looney Tunes and stuff. But at some point, I used to cheat. I used to buy color paper. And then sketch around, like, so I'll use example Scooby-Doo. Get brown paper, sketch them, fill in the black spots, the white spots. But I had a technique where color pencils and a paintbrush, where I would shave all of that in.
Oh wow!
And then smooth it out so it looks like it was popping out.
So, I mean, it's more creative than cheating, I'd say. But
I mean, yeah, but some people would see as cheating because I used the brown paper to beat the other process. Where, that was my hustle, man. I used to do a lot of artwork for people.
That's awesome. And did your family support that heavy?
Oh yeah, I mean, my mom and my dad was an artist. Amazing artists. My parents was really happy. I come from a very talented family. I'm the only one that kind of like basically pursue it bigger with 7 different talents. So I'm the I guess
the gadget,
yeah,
the Swiss Army knife.
yeah.
So you have any siblings or no?
Yeah, I have 5 older sisters.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm the child that they was trying hard to have.
Yeah, you were the one that.
Yeah,
Man, five girls, huh?
yeah.
That must have been a fun household, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. My sisters was tomboys, even though they all married their first loves.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
They was tomboys. Yeah, they was tough. So it wasn't like they was girly, but they was tough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where are they at now? They're all spread out.
2 of them. One is in Virginia. The other one is in Arizona. Everybody else is in Philly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Do they come out to you when you shoot at all? You shoot for any of them?
I do family stuff. Like I said, my family is very private. Industry stuff, they never really was into it, but they was very proud of me. And other family members in New York and overseas. But unless it was like an art show I was doing or something like that, yeah, they came to that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What is your what would you say is like your most proud moment as a creator? Because you like I said, you have 7 different talents, but does anything particularly is there anything that is more important than the other, or something that like is like a defining moment for you?
I went through a lot of stages, and I talk with friends. A good friend of mine, DJ Deli. Me and him had talks. DJ Transit. Sorry. We had talks, and my strongest skill is photography. Then it's art. Then I guess DJing.
Okay, hell yeah.
And then man, I haven't did producing in a long time, and I guess massage therapy and cooking.
Wow. So you mentioned how like the photography obviously has been like your the thing you've picked up that like is really stuck.
Yeah.
You mentioned capturing moments and all that, but so what is your favorite aspect of it? Because to some people it's just taking pictures, but to artists, it's a lot more than that. What is it to you? Like what do you love about it so much?
So for events, what I love is, like I said, capturing the moment, but telling a story. And every place has a different story. So the one thing I have to let people know is when I come out to do these events, I'm not here to party. I'm here to show the party, to build you into like, if you miss that party, you need to be at the next party, And another thing is making drunk people look sober.
Yeah, it's a hard talent for sometimes. That's a lot of talent.
I mean, I pick and choose. That's the thing. The one biggest thing I've been letting a lot of people know, when I'm shooting the events, I want you just to let loose and have fun. Don't worry about the shitty moments, because I'm not posting the shitty moments.
Right, they won't be there.
No, for 2 reasons. It don't make the venue look good, and then it don't make you look good. So why mess up your life or get the venue problems on shitty moments?
Right.
So I want everybody to feel safe and have fun, and yeah, that's it. With events now for photo shoots, my biggest passion is creative and portraits and food photo shoots, actually. I've been doing it now for almost 6 years.
Wow, for just food? You've been doing it just for
food and drinks. Yeah.
Really?
And done some work out in Kauai, a lot in Philly, New York, and Chicago. And you know.
Yeah. Any standout spots you've done?
So right now, the most recent standout spots are between Holla at the Moon and Barstool.
Okay.
Barstool's been giving me a lot of dope and creative stuff to do. You know, it's a dope spot.
Yeah, it's a good spot. Shout out to them.
Yeah, shout out. Big shout out to Kat. You know?
Yeah, Kat's a homie. She's the best, man.
Yeah. But yeah, the thing I love about doing my food photo shoots is when people see my work, and even after they finish eating, they're like, damn, you just made me hungry again.
Yeah.
That's when I know
Right.
I did my job. Or when they see a drink, they're like, fuck, I need that drink. And how I knew I did a good job, a lot of people didn't think Barstool would be for brunch.
Right.
And once they seen those pictures, they was like, oh, I need to go there for brunch.
Yeah, you don't even realize just even like you creating that aesthetic can help make people's final decision, you know?
Yeah. Plus, you know, when I work with people, I make sure I'm showing people the truth. You know, I done commercial work where there's a lot of fake stuff just to get you to buy, where I like to work with people and show the truth, what I'm shooting. So anything that you see or question about, I could give you an answer for it, you know?
Right.
So I like to make my brand like that, because if you don't look good, I don't look good.
Right.
So that's how I look at it.
Yeah, a lot more teamwork goes into it than you realize. And, you know, you spoke with, you know, about working Barstool and all these different places, different clients. Do you have a dream client that you would love to shoot for?
Ooh, I mean, my dream clients is basically just traveling overseas again, just doing product or just commercial work, shoots, or just creative portraits, you know.
Right.
My work is a little bit everywhere, because everybody has a different feel. I know a lot of people who have their page or work is just a straight one look, and there's nothing wrong with that. It makes life a lot easier for a lot of people. For me, I feel like, because as an artist, I have a different feel. I have a different vibe for everybody. So that lighting, that, you know, color filter I use is not going to be the same like my last shoot.
So you personalize.
Yes.
You emphasize on the personalization.
Yes.
What makes you different than most photographers? What separates you? Because everyone needs that thing that separates them. What's your thing?
My glasses.
Glasses, the shades? Hell yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's just my style. I like to push the button. I notice a lot of trippy stuff I've been doing. More photographers been doing it lately. And, you know, some people are like, oh, that person's copying, blah, blah, blah. But is anybody really original? You know, somebody is probably thinking the same way I'm thinking, but in another country.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for sure. And that's actually great that you mentioned, like, yeah, most, if not anything, isn't a truly original, because you've taken it from something else. And like, so do you have anyone that you've taken things from, tips, styles? Do you have anyone you've like looked up to or aspired to, or you know?
So the last time this question was asked, it was at an art show. To be honest, who really inspired me was Beethoven.
Really?
Michelangelo, Prince.
They talk about OGs.
And old school Kanye. Pharrell inspired me too. And the reason why I named these people is because of their creativity, is because what they went through. Even when they was hurt, they still fought it through. When Kanye was hurt, he still made that rap video for Jay.
Yeah.
You know, when Beethoven lost his hearing, he had cannons out in the field so he could feel the vibration to change the tone of the music. You know, Michelangelo, during those times, doing paintings on his back, to do a mural on the wall. Prince from a small town going to New York, starting with one band and then canceling out and doing his first album all by himself. 7 instruments.
Really? He played the whole thing.
Where I realized the older I got, the more I got into other stuff. I knew that as long as I had a passion for it and a talent for it, I could do it. And it worked out for me because going to school for cooking, I know how to shoot food. Being a DJ, I know how to shoot for DJs. Used to be a bartender, know how to shoot bartenders. I basically did almost everything in the industry field to understand how to shoot for y'all. And I always tell people, study what you're trying to do. It's okay to dibble and dabble everywhere, but at some point, know what is really your main strength.
Right.
And I had to realize that my main strength was photography. I love DJing. I love playing my indie rock, house, hip hop, and all of that stuff. But I knew that my photography overpowered that. So
that awareness.
Yeah, I mean, DJing now is more a hobby. I don't consider myself a DJ. A lot of people are like, no, you're still a DJ. I'm like, no. It's more a hobby for me. I mean, if somebody hired me, cool.
Yeah.
But
I think and sounds like that is your thing, is that you've done everything. So you know what I mean? And you're able to shoot for all of these things because you've done them. So you have that experience, and that, that does separate people from a normal photographer to someone who just snaps a picture to someone who captures a moment and has the awareness and understanding.
Yeah.
So when you moved out of the DJing and the photography, what kept you inspired, I guess to say, because we talked about ruts and having those times where you need to reset or rebrand or anything. So what kept you what keeps you out of a rut?
Ooh. The will to be something. Yeah, it's like the will to be something.
Does that come from anything? Does that will to be something come from anything at all?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of my family gave up a lot of their talent to provide for our family. And very talented people I looked up to. And I don't have no kids. The only responsibility is helping out my family. But other than that, I felt like I had to just take my life to the next level, And I guess what pushed me more is after I lost my cousin at a young age, I felt like if I'm going to go, let me tell a good story then. And my story is cool. It's not the greatest, I feel. One of my friends is like, yo, you should write a book. And I was like, no. Okay. But, no, I'm just living life. I'm cherishing the moments because life is very short. But I want to inspire people while I'm still here. So, the next generation can help with the future generation. And that's it. Just showing love.
And do you think that your desire to be successful and the time you put in, at the end of the day, do you think you're partially doing it for your family as well? Do you think you have a chip on your shoulder to a degree?
No.
No?
Because my family did what they needed to do for themselves. I'm doing what I needed to do for myself. But I would like to be to the point where there's just no worries. I want to be famous, but I don't want to be super in the light. I want my work to be in the light. And that's the kind of fame I want, honestly, like Pharrell.
Right.
Pharrell is famous.
Right.
But you don't really know too much about him. You know, I don't need my business, this and this and that. Just love my work.
Right.
Call it a day.
Just the respect, I guess, is the word for it. And going back on your family, it sounds like they made a lot of sacrifices. Growing up as a family in a household of what, 8 people, right? So you're five sisters, you, and then 2 parents. What was that dynamic like? And did it ever like, how close were you guys as a family?
We're really, really close. My dad worked a lot. My dad was a chemist. He worked basically 16 to 18 hours. My mom, she was like a secretary or something like that, did office work. But me and my sisters, it was the sibling thing, bicker, but we always had each other back.
Right.
The one thing we used to do is when our parents were, if my dad was at work and my mom would go to church for like Bible study or something, we would play this game where we'll turn all the lights off, but like 3 lights, and we were playing hide and go seek, and we would go hunt for each other. And that was like the most funnest game because all of that, even though my mom didn't know we was doing that, she would always scare all of us. My mom, she's like a little ninja.
Yeah.
You know. But other than that, no, my parents was very supportive. My sisters was very supportive. They're still supporting me. You know, being there for my nieces and nephews.
That's awesome.
Know.
That's awesome. Sounds like you have a great family.
Yeah.
Was your cousin a fan of your work?
Yeah. Man, my cousin was very smart.
Yeah.
He was the youngest to go to Temple. He was an engineer.
Fellow Al, I'm an Al too.
Yeah, like my cousin had his car suited up where we was playing Xbox out his car before the little TV screens and shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Smart guy.
Yeah, he was burning CDs. Like, we had a hustle. We had a little hustle. But yeah, he was going to be my tech person. You know, everything I'm doing now, I didn't know at that time. At that time, while he was still alive, I was doing photography, but I was using film. But I was just DJ, you know. And about to start DJing overseas.
Okay.
So, yeah.
When did he pass, if you don't mind me asking?
He passed early, like the early 2000s.
Okay.
Little incident down Temple's campus. And, yeah.
How do you carry his legacy today?
Honestly, I don't carry his legacy. He did what he had to do for himself. You know, he didn't really get to fulfill his legacy. So my legacy towards him is this, making sure I pursue my dreams while I'm still here. You know,
And that's how you remember him?
Yeah. You
That's
know.
awesome. Shout out to him, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I one reason why I asked is because I deal with the addiction field a lot. Do the nonprofit stuff that I do, and like whenever I speak to parents friends, family who lose someone in their life, I always say to remember them by, you know, honor them by your actions. You know, and I guess you pursuing your passion is that. And so, do you feel like you'll have a like? Do you have will you have a moment where you feel like that legacy is fulfilled, or that thing is done, that passion you've been pursuing your whole life? Is there something you're looking for that will define, like, I made it, I did it?
Yeah. When I have a bigger budget to do what I really want to do as a creator. I always grew up work with you, what you have. And if I show people the budget, some of the pictures they see, they wouldn't even believe it. But if I had the proper budget, I want to do stuff like you see on like Rihanna, or Beyonce, maybe Drake and all of them, like kind of shoots. You know,
Okay.
like I grew up on building sets. Like, yeah, green screen and everything would save you a lot of money, and that's the future. I'm not against it, but I'm a hands-on person. I
Right.
like to build. I'm working on some new backdrops, some new stuff for my new self-portrait I'm working on, of my new growth. So it's coming soon.
Yeah. I saw you updated your Instagram profile picture. It's nice.
Yeah, I
Looks-
mean
looks
that's a picture I did of myself when I finally felt together again. That's from COVID, actually. I set up my lights. The girl I was dating at the time, I told her I was setting up the lights in the living room, put on my gold glasses, and just did self-portraits.
Let me ask you something. Why everyone has their thing? Glasses are your thing.
Yeah.
Is there a reason behind that? Is it just style?
So back then, a lot of people was wearing Ray-Bans,
Yeah.
and I was doing it, but I didn't have like the frames and stuff, and I mean the lens and then I noticed one day I was like, damn, I really need to start wearing glasses, because as an animator, staring at a screen for 12 hours,
the blue light. And,
yeah,
yeah, it's gonna mess with you.
it messed up my eyes a lot. I can see, but it gets blurry.
Okay.
So one of my good friends, his shop is called Gimbal Eyewear. He do all my glasses. And good friend of mine, I do photo shoots for him. He do my glasses. So at his shop, they test out your eyes that day. So he has like this digital eye machine that scans your eyes and everything. And he was like, dude, your eyes is not bad, but you need glasses. He was like, what are you looking at? And I was like, I was showing him the frames, and I was like, oh, what about this? Been working on this. And he was like, yeah, let's work on it. Where he has a 3D scanner that scans my frames, so it knows how to cut out the lenses for my frames.
Okay. I want to hit on you mentioned like therapy and when you felt back together again.
Yeah.
Was there something specific that like you experienced, or was just an overall feeling over time that you just kind of, it put you in this like mental state?
It was I mean, I always felt like I needed to go. I just didn't have the money.
Right.
You know, therapy at that time was more a luxury than you know what it is now.
Right.
After seeing a good friend of mine's was getting himself together after going to therapy, and then after I had that brownout, I was like, you know what? Let me just try it. You know, because I see people go to therapy and then they don't get themselves fixed, but they always like therapy, where it's just like people with crystals. You know, they're
Right.
like positive vibes, this and this,
Yeah,
but they
energy.
still have a nasty energy.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And I'm all about, if you're going to help me out, you know, give me the right direction. You know, don't sell me something that didn't even work for you.
Right.
You know? So when I went in, you know, one key thing I will say to everybody, you got to be real with yourself. You can lie to your therapist all you want, but if you're not being real with yourself, then how are you working on yourself?
Absolutely.
So I was very real. I told them what I needed to work on, and I worked on it.
Yeah.
And now there's other stuff I'm working on, you know?
Right.
And it helped me. It
Yeah.
helped me out a lot.
Accountability, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's great that you even can acknowledge that, because a lot of people can't. A lot of people don't want to acknowledge that there's something wrong with them.
Yeah.
And so I actually started doing the 12 steps.
Okay.
So with my the founder Megan of the Grace Project that I work with, she's put me through them, and it's not alcoholic or any drugs. It's just there's certain things about myself that I know I need to fix, and if I don't fix them, then it'll stay like that forever, you know. So I've been learning a lot, and I've been like writing down, you know, things that are unmanageable for me. And I encourage anyone to try the 12 steps. I'm only on step 2 right now. I've just started, but the experience that I'm starting to feel from that is like I'm understanding more about myself because I'm writing it down, and I'm also being, like you said, very real with myself. Things that I'm unmanageable for, things I need to work on. And the first step is like knowing that there's issues you need to be fixed, and 2 is trusting that there's some sort of higher power. Doesn't have to be God, but there's a higher power that can, you know, change, that can help you, right? It's like leaving it up to life and leaving it to an energy, to God, for lack of better terms. And it's like, if you are willing to put in the work, then life will just work itself out for you. And it may not be the way you think, but ultimately, and which is what I've always fully believed in, which is why I bought into it, is that like, as long as you put in the work and you put in the time and the energy and the effort, and it's genuine, everything will work out for you no matter what. It just doesn't, it's not going to be how you may not be how you expected, but at the end of the day, it does work out for you, you know?
I 100% agree with you on that. I've been just letting things flow. Don't fight with it, but the things I've been doing is I work hard on things that I know I can control or work with. Things that at some point I can't control, I gotta let it flow and to see where it goes, or just cut it off completely. I feel like things do happen for a reason, and just like you said, it might not happen the way we want it, but it's happening because we asked for it, you know. If you're religious or into the universe stuff, it is what it is, but things happen for a reason. You just have to pick it up and see the vision and accept it and move forward. Because if you don't, then you're going to just keep making excuses.
Right.
Well, so,
right.
Yeah.
No, for sure. And have you picked this philosophy, like, through your sobriety and therapy, like because I think the best investment you can ever make is in yourself.
Yeah.
And since you started investing in yourself, monetarily, physically, you know, have you been seeing the growth? Like, are these things you picked up on? And also, I guess my question as well is there any philosophy you live by now that you didn't live by then?
So yes, I have seen my growth. I've seen my growth big time. I'll be real honest. Yeah, even one night I cried. I was like happy because I was like, damn, I am growing. I'm doing what I was meant to do, you know. And what was the other question?
I guess my question was like your philosophy. Like, is there any new philosophies you've learned since you started investing in yourself?
Ooh, I mean, the best thing I could do, I mean, to answer that question is basically what I've been telling a lot of people. Look at your life as a pot of water. If the pot of water is heated and it's boiling, you can't see yourself. You can't determine what you want to do. You can't even if you have an egg in it, you can't really see the egg clearly. But when the heat is down, it's simmer, and you're relaxed, you can see yourself clear. So think about yourself like a pot of water. You know, you got to let yourself simmer to really take on what you really want to see clearly in your life, you know.
I like that.
So
I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of times, you know, you act with emotion first before thinking. It can, you know, put you in a bad place, you know.
In this industry, it will push your buttons. And honestly, I went through a lot. And, you know, I'm not innocent.
Right. None of us are.
Yeah, I was about to say thank you for saying that.
That's a disclaimer. No, if you guys are watching and you thought we were innocent, well, we're not.
Like, I'm not a shitty person, but damn, I'm not innocent. But I done stuff But, you know, I confronted myself. I confronted the people, you know. But another thing is, when you know you're just doing your thing, sometimes being silent is the best thing, because that silence will speak high volume for you later. And that's one of the reasons why I'm private, because not everybody know my life, and the people who do know my life, I trust with my life.
Right.
You know.
It's an access thing.
Yes. So, and there's nothing against other people, but not everybody's meant to know everything about you.
Right.
You know, not even my best friends that I grew up with, they don't know 100% me.
Right.
So.
And did you pick that up from family just by how they move, or is that like something you've adopted? Like,
I kind of picked it up from family. You know, like I said, my family's private,
right.
but we cherish the moments and we cherish people, but we're very selective. You know, that keeps our family strong. You know.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. It's an access thing. And I think it's definitely something, you know, having like, because what it does is it naturally weaves out the people that are supposed to be in your life and who aren't.
Yeah.
You know, if you know, you know, pretty much.
Yeah.
You know, so I guess we can kind of wrap up with this is like,
yeah.
You've done so many things, so great. Probably film 5 podcasts and probably write a book that one day. And I'm glad we scratched the surface on it, you know, because I think like everything you do you know, it is nice to be on the other side of the camera for once. And like, and I'm honored that you even came on here to do that, because I know we talked for a little bit and it took some time, but I think, you know, I hope you had a good time on this pod. Is your first pod or no? Been on a few?
Not for a long time. But yeah, like I said, when we talked earlier, talked to a couple of people. You have a good reputation. I enjoy your podcast. Why? I've been working with my homie. So
appreciate
why
that.
not? You know,
man.
I don't want to be too much of a mystery to everybody, because everybody's been loving my work, you know, and showing love. And thank you for everybody who's been showing me love.
Yeah, man, you've been getting a lot of well-deserved recognition.
Thank you. You know, just trying to spread the love back, do my work.
Hell yeah. So we're going to end off with this. Is there any advice you give to a creative who is, you know, someone who is like, listen, I'm just trying these things and they're just not working? Is there advice you would give to someone who is in that hustle phase? You
got to work with your homies. You know, you got to work with people. Sometimes you're not going to... I didn't start off with big gigs. Believe me, I did not start off with big gigs. I started off doing mediocre stuff.
Right.
Where friends was like, yo, I really like your style. Hey, I have a big opportunity for you. And that's where it went from there. And just being a good person, telling a story, and, you know, your turnaround.
Oh, yeah. Just the consistency and being present and waiting for your moment.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of it is moments. A lot of it's timing, you know?
Yeah, and I'm just going to let everybody know I'm not even at my spot for my moments. So, you know, I'm still building.
Your ceiling,
you got to still build.
Your ceiling is as high as you want it to be.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Aaron, thank you so much for coming on, man.
Thank you for having me, man.
Hey, man, check Aaron Raysor out on his Instagram. You feel he shoots everything from weddings, nightclubs, private events, portraits. Hit him up. He does everything. He does it all. And Aaron, like I said, I'm truly honored you came on, and I'm glad you shared your story. And I wanted to learn a bit more about you as well, because like I said, I've been seeing you everywhere. I'm like, who is this guy? He takes great pictures, but who is he? You know?
I'm like Batman. No.
You put the bat signal out.
Yeah, I'm not rich like Batman, but I'm like Batman.
Hey, Bruce Wayne, man, coming soon. Nah, man, I appreciate coming on, and hope you guys enjoyed this episode of The Loft. My name's KEV Nichols. That's Aaron Raysor.
Thank you for having me.
No worries, brother. Peace.